Welcome back, everybody. JSano here with Guude.
Hi.
And we're here for this week's Survivor and Utopia update. So, Guude, Survivor.
Survivor. So, last week we lost Nadia, right? Or was it, no, wait, was it Natalie or Nadia that we lost? I can't remember.
Nadia.
Okay. All right. So
And,
going
and
into
yeah,
this
your
week,
wish did not come true this week.
no, you're skipping ahead. Spoiler alert. No, couldn't be that lucky. Though her sister did seem like she might possibly die from missing her other sister.
That's true. That's true.
She's never been apart in like 10 years.
She hasn't cried in 10 years. And
Right.
her sister, even though they haven't been together since the beginning of the game, she's now
Right.
without her.
You know, I kind
all
of
of a
wondered,
sudden.
like, you know, the twins always say that they could tell when, like, their twin dies or whatever.
Do you
Like,
think
I
she
kind of,
knew?
yeah, like, oh God, there's a disturbance in the force. But
She was at camp. They were just around the campfire, and she was like, "Oh dear God!" and stabbing the pain.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. So yeah, this week they start off with, she's all sad, she's gone or whatever. But they start off with the guy losing the Flint. You remember? They just like
I do. That was John from Michigan, by the way. Gotta give shouts out. He played Michigan State football.
his philosophy was, though, if I keep talking about me losing the Flint, everyone will be okay with it. Like,
So, I kind of back that philosophy because I've seen a lot of Survivor where somebody does something on accident and then people just get angry with them because they just act like they don't care. They're like, "Yeah, whatever. Can't do anything about it now. It's over." And at least his philosophy was, "I will take blame, let people know I take blame, and just be apologetic and hope that they feel for me."
right.
I mean,
Now-
obviously you think differently on that.
Well,
strategy.
I kind of think that in the game of Survivor, someone's going to do something really dumb in 3 days before Tribal. And this was day 0 before Tribal, basically, like, or day 1 of the 3 before Tribal.
Right.
And so I kind of thought, maybe you should shut your damn mouth and stop talking about it, because there's still 2 more days where some idiot's going to do something. They're going to just, no one's going to even remember that Flint. But then I didn't know that they planned on, so carrying this on, they go into the reward challenge and they decided that they want to trade if they win. They don't say anything until they win. They win, and then they say, well, there's the fishing gear over here, but last week we won these beans, so can we give you the beans maybe? And
I thought the greatest part about that was Jeff was like, no,
yeah,
you
just
guys
no,
are dumb.
no. And now, here's the thing that kind of blew my mind. It never dawned on me that they're using the same Flint for the entire season. They are relying on that Flint they're given at the start of the show to start fires for the entire season if the fire goes out.
How long does a flint last?
That's what, apparently on day 0, it doesn't last at all because somebody
Because
breaks
somebody
it in
breaks
half.
it in half. You're right.
Right. So if 2 people can't make a Flint last one whole day, I didn't realize that everyone else has been making it for 28 seasons now, been making it last 39 days.
So do you think that's really true, or do you think that like losing it's a different category than it running out or it breaking? Do you think they give them more replenished flint if they just are like wearing down after so long?
I have no idea. Now I don't know. I've always decided that they did. Kind of like, stuff they don't talk about is that there's like women products available, there's condoms available, there's
Sunscreen available,
bug spray, that type of stuff's available. They don't ever tell you that, but you just know. Well, I mean, because you've read it on the wiki or whatever. So Survivor behind the scenes. But the Flint's never come up before, so I don't know. Now that's another question. Like, what's the deal with the Flint? Because, I mean, Jeff was very serious about this. Like, now, if you ever want Flint from this, if you don't take it now, you're fucked. I'm gonna
if you don't give me your reward back that you won, that you coincidentally were going to be like, well, we don't want to give that one up.
So what would you have done? Would you have traded the fishing gear for Flint?
For sure, I would have traded the fishing gear for Flint because you need to be able to make a fire. And they
Right.
obviously did not have success making a fire. What are you going to do with the fish when you catch it?
Eat it raw!
Not all fish is edible raw. It's not like they have like a tuna haven out there. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they do, but I'm gonna
Most
blow
fishes
on it. I mean, but at the same time, I would have done, hopefully, if their planning was to say, I want to trade for the Flint, they easily should have won the challenge and said, hey, we'll trade you what we just won for the Flint because we broke ours. Or they should have come in there, if they weren't planning on trading the stuff, they should have come in there at the very beginning and been like, we broke our Flint, we'll give you the bag of beans right now. Because their strategy to wait until they were done with the challenge to see if they won or not, how was that helpful? Because
no, it doesn't make any sense, right?
Because once they lost,
you're still offering the same thing you already had.
Exactly, and now you're offering, because you won, you're offering the same thing, but with a bigger prize sitting there. That luckily Jeff called right out. I mean,
right? Do you think they weren't, like, if they had lost, would they have still not asked? You think? Because that's their only food at that point is the beans. But if they're getting the fishing gear, then they have that other food source, so then they can make that deal. That's if they lost.
So you would have taken the fishing gear?
I don't think I would have taken the fish. I mean, yeah, I would not have taken the Flint. For one thing, there's so many unknowns. There's so many unknowns. I don't understand how the Flint even works in the show now, apparently, because I've had this understanding for 28 seasons that apparently is not right at all. You have fire. They have fire right now. Fire doesn't seem that hard to start. I mean, I don't know. I'm not there.
Definitely throughout the seasons of Survivor, it seems that more people go into knowing how to build a fire. Like Reed was the one who specifically requested the Flint. And Reed and Josh said that they know how to make fire. Granted that they might know how to make fire using a Flint, but I've seen many people in different seasons, in the later seasons, not in the early ones, but be able to make fire without Flint.
Right.
Quite easily. Like, so I don't know, maybe they just... I don't know, and you're right. They did have fire still, and they said they were just going to try to keep it going.
Yeah.
But then there was a big rainstorm coming, they said.
Right. I think that you're going to be able to start fire. You're not going to be able to catch fish with your bare hands. Like, you can't... that fishing gear... The thing is, fishing gear will come back in the next reward challenge. Next reward challenge, the fishing gear will be back on the table. I guarantee it.
Probably. And they better hope they win.
But what if you go back to camp and you're like, you kick a piece of stone and there's your Flint?
There it is. Yeah,
right. Exactly. Now, if I was the guy that lost the Flint and I came back to camp and found it, I'd throw that shit right in the ocean. I would not tell a soul.
So do you?
Because then, like, they really are going to hate you.
Do you remember the season, I think it was the second season with Russell Hantz, when he wanted to cause problems at camp, so he went and buried the machete?
Yeah.
So he specifically was doing that. Do you think that's going on at all? Or do you think that somebody legitimately lost the Flint?
You think they would do that and not show it? I mean, that happened when the cameras weren't around. There's no way they're going to keep that from us, too.
Or they could have done it so that they can show it in a couple episodes later and, like, flash back to one of the guys, or have him be like, hey, by the way, I hid the Flint. Just show, like, power or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I will be shocked if that development happens. I'll be like, wow. Really? Yeah. Like, I think they would show it now.
But how do you lose the Flint? I started fire with it, and then I
sat it over here afterwards.
And then I buried it and dug it in a hole.
Yeah.
So the Flint thing, very interesting. However, the outcome of that challenge, they win the reward because Julie, who gets to then send people, or her husband, boyfriend, whatever he is, John Rocker, goes to exile, and they pick somebody to go to exile with them. Now, question, when that challenge started, he said it was going to be a loved ones challenge. They rock, paper, scissored for which team, like, got to choose who went up or whatever. What if Natalie had said, put me up?
I wondered the same thing. Like, all right, we win.
Yeah. No loved one. She lost.
No, I wanted to know the same exact thing. So I'm assuming we'll get the answer to that question later. But yeah, I don't.
Unless every challenge, coincidentally, they make a loved one have to go up there for it. The one that has somebody on the other side.
If that's the case, what? She's just got, like, a free pass. She's out.
That's true.
My loved one's gone.
That's, yeah, I was curious. We'll see what happens with that one. But anyways, they go to Exile Island. John Rocker and who do they send? That, what's his name? Jeremy Collins. So they send Jeremy, the guy who originally had to send somebody the first time. Did you notice what happened with the urns?
What do you mean?
So they picked...
Yeah, there's a skinny one and a fat one.
Well, they picked their urns. They both have papers in them this season, as opposed to, like, the last season where they did this, where one was just empty. So at least they both have papers in them. And he literally, John Rocker, picks his up, and he goes, oh, it's blank.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Leans over the other guy's shoulder and just starts reading like
Right.
without
Yeah.
permission.
Well, the
And
guy kind of said, I mean, yeah, I wondered that too, because the guy said, well, I'll let him read it. And it's like, well, from the way the camera looked at it, you didn't really let him do anything. He just read it.
yeah, he already read it. So now maybe you're just trying to say, oh, I'll let him read it, make him think I'm being a friend, because
Yeah.
he already knows what it says on.
And he's like, well, all right, I'm going to let you read this, but you did take care of my woman. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, yeah, that was really weird. Like, I'm gonna give him this information, but in as return, he's gonna take care of my wife. Like, how is he gonna take care of her? Is he gonna give her the idol if he finds it? No. So what did that even mean? Like, I don't understand what the point of that kind of exchange was.
I mean, I think it's part of it's trying to gain alliances on the other side.
Yeah, sure.
And
Just,
if you go with a four-way alliance because you have, hey, he took care of my wife, I'll take care of his girlfriend. We now have 4 people strong when we get to a merge. I mean, I don't know how much spoilers we want to get into already, but obviously that's not going to be the case because of the way everything played out. But so he takes that clue. He knows where the idol is, and he finds the idol pretty quick, which was surprising to me. I'm trying to remember which side it was, because remember in the very first episode, Dale took that thing off of the well.
Yeah.
And he said, I know this isn't an idol, but it could come in handy later. Wasn't that one of the clues?
Oh, was it?
The paper, because the paper, I don't know if you read it, and I wish I could throw it up on the screen. I don't have a picture of it or anything. The paper actually it says something like, this symbol equals water, this symbol equals dig, this symbol equals north, this symbol equals south, or something like that. So he has one of those symbols, and somehow John Rocker still comes out and finds it without like...
It was so random too. He just walked off into the scrub a little bit and just started digging, right? And it was like, oh, here it is.
It was like, well, I'll go arbitrarily 18 paces from nowhere. And
sometimes some of the stuff I think they edit out, we don't get the clear picture of what exactly, because I mean that may have been like a 2-hour thing where he messed around the water hole for 2 hours and then found it, but does it seem like he was just like, oh, wow, there it is.
Yep, here it is. And then John Rocker's not the smartest guy in the world. He's trying to uphold his promise, to protect his woman, Jeremy's woman. So he tells her, you've been talking that you have an idol. You need to play it tonight because basically they're going to try to vote you out. And he was completely, in my mind, watching him, he completely thought that was the case, that she had an idol.
You think so?
I do. I do.
He really is an idiot then. Because the thing is, she didn't just lie about one idol. She didn't say, I found one idol. She said, I found 2.
Yeah, she did say she found 2. And
why do you have to lie? If you're going to lie, why do you have to lie about 2?
Well, and John Rocker has 1 himself. And
I know. It's like, no. It's like, that's what, you really think he believed her. He was like, oh, yeah, that math, that checks out.
I mean, the way he said it is because otherwise, how does that even help him at all? He's going to pretend to her that he's trying to help her. That doesn't get back to Jeremy at all. So therefore his because he didn't vote for her in the first round of voting. He voted for...
did he not?
No, he voted for Baylor. And then when they tied, he came back and said, well, got to do it. And he voted for Val, which I still kind of find very strange because you think that's going to come back to bite him in the ass?
No.
You don't think Jeremy's going to be pissed that after the one promise?
Is he going to tell Jeremy? Yeah, I did it. I voted her out. I mean, he doesn't have to tell her.
I mean, you're right.
My team did it. They got rid of her.
Yeah,
tried to save her. She said she had idols.
Yeah, which she obviously didn't use. And obviously when he knew... I almost think he... Do you think he voted for Val to save... or for Baylor, whatever her name is originally? Because if she did play an idol, she could be like, hey, he backed me up. He really did help me to her husband and form a stronger alliance. And when he realized she didn't have one.
I didn't think. I thought it was all. I thought. Okay, so now we're having this conversation that changes a little my thought on all of it, because I really thought that there's no way anyone was dumb enough to believe that she had even one idol, much less 2.
I agree with you, except for the fact that I sincerely, the way he said it to her, unless it was just clever editing, the way he said it to her seemed so like, hey, I got your back, you have an idol, I can't protect you, but you have to play that idol.
See, I thought it was more like, better play that idol, crazy lady.
Wink, wink, nudge,
Your
nudge.
idol.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think it was like, yeah, I totally didn't see it that way. I saw it as no one in their right mind could believe that someone has two. You know, I could believe she had one, but once she said she had two, it was just like, well, you're a liar.
So
you're obviously a liar.
When did she actually say that she had two? I heard her at tribal council say that they'd heard that she had two.
She said it when they were in the woods. I don't know, like
when they were on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you know, it was just like because she basically said to people, it was you know, I don't know what you guys are gonna do, but I'm not worried because I got not one but two idols. I found the one on X Island and I found the one on our island. And she like laid it all out, like this is how and it's like no, and then John Rocker's like no, I got it, no.
Yeah, I mean, because anybody
and there's not even one on Exile Island.
Anybody who'd been to Exile Island knows that there's not one there. So that, I mean, that wouldn't even protect her for that much longer because eventually other people on her team are going to go over there and they're going to be like, oh, there's no idol here, huh? This is all for an idol back at camp.
Because she's already got it. You know, well, they're not going to lose it anymore because she's already no. Yeah, anyone that believed the whole two idol thing. I don't know. I guess it's one of those things when you lie, you really have to lie. She really did. She just lied, just all out there.
Lied herself out of the game.
Yep. What? So we kind of jumped ahead to the immunity. I mean, but we didn't talk about the immunity challenge itself. And I mean, there's I guess not really a lot to talk about. Yeah, they're on the little thing in the water and they have to beat each other off. They'll push each other off.
yes, that's what the challenge was.
Or someone to come loses.
All the guys were out first. Who knew?
What did you think about the mother-daughter, where they're like, they start off, they ram each other, and the daughter's like, oh, my nose, oh god.
So the whole any challenge like this in general, I'm not a big fan of. I like more of the strategic, thought out challenges where you have to do something and not just like straight up muscle, like let me beat somebody off of a platform. But when you do it, the family duels were kind of entertaining because of the fact that they were like, oh, get this, blah, blah, blah. And then they ran into each other and her like forehead went straight into her teeth. And after that, dude, her mom gave up. Her mom let her win at the end. There's no question about that. She was just like, oh my God, I hurt my baby. I'll go like this a couple times. And oh, I fell in the water. Like,
made me so mad when she just kind of fell in the water.
Yeah, that was
definitely.
And
the daughter like celebrated, like yeah,
like I whooped her ass. Like nobody can stop me. I'm so much better than her. The thing is,
think the daughter was kind of putting it on a little bit, like playing it up.
No, I think she's what is she, 20? I think she's a 20-year-old crybaby who. I mean, she took like a little hit to the face, which I mean, probably hurt. Forehead did go into her mouth. She probably has like a fat lip or something, but I definitely think she was just like sitting there and going, oh my God, my mother did this to me. What did I do to her? Like, you know, I'm sure it was one of those emotional breakdowns as well that she was playing she wasn't playing it up because that's really what her thought process was, in my opinion. Can't you tell I like Baylor a lot?
Yeah.
And how many, what was it, best of 5? Or do they each have to go in? I can't remember exactly what it was, but weren't there only like 2 family duels?
Yeah, there were the brothers, and then there was the mother-daughter.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, is it because, well, Wes?
I don't know. I have all of them on here. See, it was Kelly versus Jacqueline, Drew. They were the brothers. Then the mom and daughter. Oh, the boyfriends fought each other.
Oh, did they? Okay.
And Josh, and then it was just the old guys, Dell and Keith, but they're not related. It was just they're both really old. And they're not really that old. That's the thing about Survivor, too. Once you hit like 35, you're ancient. You go on the show and all the younger ones, they're like 18, 21. They're like, well, these old people.
Yeah, these old guys out here.
And they're like, they're our age. And it's like, ah, fuck you.
Yeah, but I'm surprised they didn't put like Keith up against his son, Wes.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they just feel that that's too unmatched of a challenge, or putting like John against Jacqueline, like that might not be the best challenge in the world. But I mean, I don't know. I was just surprised there wasn't more family duels.
Right.
But I guess it's hard when you have the gender lines that you cross because they try to keep it even like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. So I'm never a big fan of those type of challenges. I like I mean, it's for one, I liked one of the main reasons I watch Survivor is not just because I like the social commentary and like to make fun of them afterwards about their stupid decisions, but it's because I like elaborate, fun challenges. I find them very entertaining that they set up, and that's like, oh, you ran out of time and put a platform in the water. And
how do you feel about the ones where they have to stand on something? Like they just have to stand on something.
I think those can be entertaining for the aspect of when they start to bring out, like after an hour, it's like, I can tempt you off with this if you,
with a hamburger or whatever.
Feel you're safe. I like that because that gives you a little more thought process into what people really think is going on. But those can get pretty boring as well. Like, hold on.
I found a lot of those to be unfair. Kind of like the reward challenge this episode, where you had to carry that ball on the paddle, but the sticks that you had to go under weren't height based. Right. So she's just like, get under the thing, and he's like, Jesus Christ, I got to bend 4 feet.
Yeah.
So like shit, like there should be some kind of better evenness. I'm not saying this is the words I want to use, but they need to make the challenges fair across the board, and they don't do that.
Yeah, they make it fair for some. Some of them, it's like when it's weight-based, a lot of times it's like, we'll add 10% of your body weight, whatever that happens to be. But like the ones where you have to stand on that little foot peg, like when you're in that boxed window and you have to step down to those different foot pegs. Yeah, a small, petite female is going to have a lot easier time standing on that last foot peg than a huge dude is, just based on physics and general body size.
Like, right.
It's
I mean, you know, it's funny. We talked last time all about the two blood versus water back to back, and we totally forgot about beauty, brains, and brawn. And I would have loved to talk about that season a lot because I always thought that was so dumb. Like, beauty and brawn became the same fucking thing. Like, you're beautiful because you're brawn. Basically, is how they decided the people. And then you had the brains, which really weren't all like ugly either. Like, they should have been fucking ugly or something. The thing is, they didn't make the challenges where like the brains and brawn made sense, but what challenges were there for the beauty? Like, was there a beauty pageant somewhere? There wasn't. So like that whole premise was the dumbest thing. I think that's why I forgot that season even happened, because to me that was the dumbest premise for Survivor ever.
It was pretty bad. And I want to know, like, so the Brains tribe, it was everybody with IQs over like 140 or something like that. Like they said it was some IQ threshold. Where on the Survivor application does it ask for your IQ?
Yeah,
like,
like how do they even know that?
Right. How did they find out that that's like, oh, we'll just go get a bunch of smart people who applied somehow? And it also makes me wonder about these ones, these loved ones. We talked about this last week. Are people applying with their significant others? Or are they like, hey, let's do a video together. Maybe one day they'll put a Blood versus Water episode up again. Like, I mean, the first one made sense. I haven't
looked at the application in like 8 years. Have you ever applied?
Yeah, I have applied before. And it's, I will tell you, it is the biggest pain in the ass about applying. There are two things, actually, for me. One, it's the state menu is a drop-down menu. It doesn't include DC. So I technically can't apply because I don't live in a place that I can apply. I don't quite get that one. And the other thing is you have to make a 3-minute video.
On a VHS.
Maximum. No, you upload it.
Oh, you can do that now. Back when I did it, it had to be on a VHS. And that was like after like VHSs weren't even a thing anymore. Like to get my video onto a VHS was a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, you can definitely upload it, but you can upload a maximum 20 megabyte video.
Holy shit, the compression on that thing.
The one time that I tried to throw up an application, I ended up making it was like it was like this big of a video on like my screen because it was the only way I could do anything that still had quality that was small enough.
How long was it? Like 2 minutes?
Like 2.5 minutes or something like that. Like, because I, just based from my camera phone, I had like clips of me at the fire station and things like that. It was a really poor video. Like, it wouldn't have gotten me anywhere. I actually realized that I was like a day away from the deadline when I was like, you know what, maybe I should apply. So I just threw some garbage together, and it was like, it was not a question on whether I was going to get on or not. It was more like, let's see how this process works type of deal. But the video, like you could barely even see it, but if I lowered the compression at all, it was just pure grain garbage. Right. But I made it a small one, so you could actually drag it and make it bigger, and it still looked okay. But I'm sure that they were just like trash, or delete, since it's digital.
They have to get just tons of videos.
You would think, and how many people do you think really maintain that? Oh, I guess they have to maintain that 20 meg threshold because it doesn't let you upload it if it's higher than that. It tells you like, oh, too big. So, Yeah, the whole
All these
online
videos are like 10 seconds. Pick me!
Yeah.
That's it.
Please. Well, and
Please!
I've watched some of the videos that they claim are the actual winning videos from contestants, and some of them are really good, but
Yeah.
they're really high quality.
Well, they probably, once you've been selected, they get the original.
That's possibly true. That's possibly true.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But I feel like a lot of times things like this are, like for instance, my brother works at CBS, and I mean, not really, you know what I'm saying, but like that, I think a lot of it's nepotism, probably.
Oh, I completely agree. One of the episodes, I think I talked about this last week. One of the episodes I watched of an old season, the guy at the end, after he won, they were like, "Yeah, you'd never even heard of Survivor before you got on here." He's like, "Yep, never watched a single episode. I got the phone call on a Friday, and he flew out to whatever the place was on Monday. It was Earl from season 18, and I was like,
how did he get in? They picked him off the street
from like a casting director. I think a casting director like that. He was like an actor type of guy. Like sent his stuff in to them. Wow. He'd never watched a single episode before going on the show, and it's like, really?
Jesus.
Really?
I'm waiting for the kids season. The last two season finales, they keep bringing... No, I'm kidding. I'm not even kidding. They keep bringing these kids out, and they're like, these are the future Survivor. And I know they're saying that these are the people that are going to grow up and be on Survivor one day, but they sure keep showing these kids off. I think they want the kids' audience, too. Like, I think they're doing... They keep bringing up kids, man. They keep showing kids, and they keep saying, you're the future Survivor. I don't know.
I couldn't watch it.
No.
I don't think I could watch it.
There was a show. There was a show. It was called Kid Nation. And it was, oh man, it led to all these lawsuits and shit afterwards. But they had these kids, and they were off on a farm, and they were all alone. There was producers around and stuff, but they were just letting them just run rampant. And they would create their own government and do their own thing.
So did they do a better Utopia? Is that what you're
yes,
saying?
It's way better. You should go watch Kid Nation. It's way better than Utopia. But in the end, like, there's a bunch of lawsuits from the kids' parents and stuff like that about how there's the neglect and stuff that they were allowed to live in, because they're just like, just living off the land and eating whatever they want, not washing the dishes, and just it was great. It was a great show. But yeah, I would watch another season of that if they could do it without.
They only did one.
Yeah, only one. After that,
After that, the company went bankrupt from all the lawsuits.
Well, most of the kids that were on the show, it was kind of, we were talking about the nepotism. It was all like producers' kids, and stuff like that.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, I don't know. And then in the end, like there was a money thing where like you win like a scholarship or something. The kids do. But I really enjoyed it. It was really great. It was way better drama than what you get like on Utopia, because for one thing, they weren't all fucking each other, so there wasn't all that. Like, that's the only thing. That's all Utopia is, like softcore porn, basically, is what this show is. It's just like, it's all the parts of the pornos where. In fact, do you want to just move on to Utopia? Is there anything else about Survivor we have to talk about?
I don't think so. I think we.
Okay, I guess the only thing is Val ends up getting voted out. So Val's the one that just got voted out, and I think she got voted out because of her claims to the idols. I think that's what sealed her fate. Because after the 4v4 split, a lot of people were saying, "Well, we got to vote her. She's got idols. She says she has idols." So I don't know. Maybe she hadn't started lying about idols.
I agree.
But yeah, so on to Utopia. I think the first thing we should talk about is the fact that they've already canceled one of the days.
Wait, what?
What's that? Yeah, one of the days. It's Tuesday and Friday, right?
Yeah.
Not anymore. It's just Friday.
Oh, are you serious? I was looking forward to watching an episode tonight.
No, you're not getting an episode tonight. It's been canceled.
Oh, Jesus. So we're halfway there.
Halfway there. Yep.
How can they possibly...
I thought you knew. I didn't want to like...
No, I had no idea.
Here. But yeah, no. Oh yeah, we're halfway there, man.
The show is so good, though. How can they do that?
So yeah, no, what I was going to say a minute ago when I was like jumping ahead was that it's like the part of the pornos where like the pizza guy comes, and that's all they really show.
The part where he arrives, or
yeah, no, not the finish.
Okay,
the start. The first time he comes.
Gotcha.
Through the door. And that's what Utopia is, and you get to see that part where he's like, "Hey, what you doing?" And they're like. Then they don't show the actual porn, and that's all Utopia. It's the foreplay in pornos.
So I agree. And this week, it was Hexen, and I don't even know if I put that guy on our cast list yet because it was new. What's her boyfriend's name?
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't have
shoot.
the list of people up in front of me from last week either, so I don't know anybody's name
Oh,
this week. I'm out of
God.
names.
Well, Hex and that one dude.
Me and my wife were watching it after me and you did this, and I was like, and Amanda this, and then Chris that. It's Chris even something. I don't know, anyways, but she was like,
You're
when the
like,
fuck
who?
did you learn these people's names? Like I had to look at their faces today and say their names. It was great.
Yeah, I actually, oh, God. Here, I got a picture of him, but what is his name? Taylor?
Sure.
Sure, that's the guy. I think it's Taylor. But either way, her and Taylor are, banging now. And they showed what they were like, and look, this is their wood pile that they, their secret wood area that they use for, like, this. But the thing is, there's a camera, like, pointed directly at it. So I'm not sure where the secret part is, or if they're just like, look, it's away from everybody else, which most of this land also is away from everybody else. But...
So this week started out, and they started building this. Why they keep spending so much money and build this? They're basically making New York City on their land. Like we need to build a woodworking place for all the other shit we're gonna spend money on and build.
For glass blowing.
Yeah.
Is there a glass blower
that's
there?
like a necessity, right? I mean, next week we're putting in our glass blower.
Mine got installed last week. I mean, jeez, but who there is a glass blower? Has anybody ever said that they know anything?
Cary, North Carolina. The guy that was dating Bree Clark. Oh no, wait, his name is not Clark. Maybe
like the musician.
Yeah, maybe.
He blows
the
glass.
The guy, Cary, North Carolina, is a glass blower.
Okay, I did not.
And he's dating Bree. The reason why I said his name was Clark is because I have written down here that Bree is basically Clark Kent and Superman. Because every time she's on the screen, she changes her damn face, and I've almost thought there's two different people. I've gotten confused because she's got her glasses on, her hair pulled up, and she looks Asian. And then she takes her glasses off, pulls her hair down, and she looks like the girl that was on that '70s show. I can't remember her name.
Rosario Dawson? Oh no, Mila Kunis.
Yeah. So yeah, Bree is basically Clark Kent and Superman to me. Every time I see her, I'm like, oh, there's Clark, and then oh, there's Superman. Like, and she's, and I wish they had voted her out.
So what'd you think of that? The whole America involvement in the...
I thought that was really dumb that they were putting so much weight on it. They were like, well, America said this, and so America knows a lot more. No, America knows the edited down bullshit that we've been force-fed. That's all we know. We don't know all this inside stuff. They kept saying, well, if America voted for Bree, then obviously Bree's going behind our backs and talking all this shit because America knows they're looking out for... No, that's not... You think America's got together in a boardroom and we made an educated decision that we're looking out for the best of you and we're doing this because we're worried that... No, we're just tired of looking at her face because we can't remember if she's Clark Kent or Superman right now.
Wait, isn't that how you get together whenever you do those, like, voting on those online or those shows? I get together with a bunch of people and we make a unanimous decision. Like, we have a town hall meeting about it and everything to, like... But yeah, and they were saying that there was, like, hundreds of thousands of votes for her or something like that, which I don't know if that many people even watch the show, let alone... vote for the show, but
I don't even know where you vote. Did you know? Did you vote?
I didn't vote, and I'm assuming you do it from their web. What the hell? Let's look. Your website.
Well, excuse me there. Towards the end of, we were talking last week. How does this even work? So you voted out this person. When's the next vote? Stuff like that. Now, very briefly at the end of the episode, after the vote had happened, and they told Red he was out. They show Bella, and she says under her breath, "Thank goodness I have another 30 days here." And that's the only time I've heard a time frame mentioned at all.
Oh no, they've said before it's every month they vote somebody out and get somebody new in.
Totally missed that.
Yeah, they definitely said that before. But so the voting for this stuff though was we come up with two people we want to put up there. They voted Bella unanimously. Not unanimously, but the most. She got the most votes. The second place was either Bree or Red, and Red just stood up and goes, "I'll take it. You want to stay here longer? I'll be the second person that's up for this." And then America's vote, coincidentally, is for Bree. What if Bree was there? Did they only have two people they vote on?
Yep, totally. Yep.
You don't think that they open up a different envelope?
No. Oh, yeah, yes, absolutely. Yes, I do. I do believe, because they weren't given that envelope until after they had already done their vote. So, yeah, if they had voted for, Bree and Bella, then they would have got an envelope and then it'd been red. Yeah, I totally think so.
Yeah, I mean, they did read it right after the vote. However, I don't know where they got it from. They never showed, like, all of a sudden he just
I mean,
like,
they read it right after the vote
this,
because that's when the camera cut and started recording again.
Yeah.
You don't know. Yeah.
Or it's a guy hiding under the table and he's like, which one,
Yeah.
which one? Oh, yeah, put this one up there. Like,
I mean, it's kind of like that big board they had where they were putting stuff. They didn't build that. This producer's gate. This show was such bullshit.
I didn't even think about that board. You're absolutely right. Because who was going to be like, hey, somebody's getting voted out. Let's start building the board.
Yeah.
Start tallying people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. So did they make any progress on that that woodworking shop?
Now it looks like there is a foundation there now, because they showed, whatever his name was, the guy with the really tight shorts. That's all the names I got now. They showed him, cutting some boards. And it looked like they had pretty much the floorboards or the structure for the floor down. So they'll be blowing glass before you know it.
I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. I'm looking at the bio right now on Chris. North Carolina glassblower and chili farmer. So I guess I was
chili farmer.
Chili farmer, yep.
Oh, I didn't know we even farm chilies here. Carrie, that's where I go to Best Buy at. I might go get some glass blown one day.
Yeah, go. That's. I mean, who better than a guy in Utopia?
To hang out with him, right? That's the going rate.
Yeah. So again, how much money they raked in with this Experience Utopia thing that they're just exploiting, as well as. You brought this up last week, and I had missed it, but they really are buying time with that one dude. And why
it's a prostitution ring, man. You can go in and you can have sex for $40.
So the lawyer guy, he got
he's also getting paid.
Well, yeah, that chick was like making out with him, and Dedeker, the polyamorous chick's all like, "Hey, so did you like it? Was it good?" And that kind of like, I mean. I guess that's good to know that she's still her polyamorous self, but it kind of weirded me out a little bit to be like, so are they still like a couple? Is he now into the life of polyamory? Like,
yeah, I think he is. I mean, here's the thing, right? You got the one girl that's paying $40 to come and sleep with you.
Yep.
But she's not there all the time. And at night when you go to bed, you need someone. I mean, I've accepted the life of Utopia as my Lord and Savior at this point, basically. Like I mean, I don't want to live this life Utopia, but I like last week we talked about. I had a hard time trying to understand it. Like, why is everyone so sexually active? Like, is it just? I mean, are they getting paid extra? Are they getting paid by the condom use or something? Like, I don't understand why everyone is so just. They're like a bunch of fucking rabbits. And then you got people paying to come in and be a part of it, and then so I don't know, but I've accepted it, and so yes, it makes sense. He needs to have the women to come in from outside and pay him, and he needs something whenever they're not there.
So what do you feel about those? Like, if I were somebody who was watching a show like this, and I lived by it, and I was like, damn, that Dedeker chick is hot. Like, I can go pay and have sex with her. Then I'd have to think, like, I can go pay and be on TV for everybody to see and realize I'm just a whore who's paying somebody to have sex with me. Like, wouldn't you feel kind of weird being those people who are doing that?
Well, those people, they're already living that life, though. They're already stuck in that head.
The people coming in.
Yeah, no, I know. But, I mean, obviously, think of how many didn't come and pay the $40.
That's true.
Literally didn't come.
Or maybe they did, just watching them with other people. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There's plenty of people that they're fine getting off just watching.
Oh, it's such a strange concept in the way they're making money and they're making.
It's not legal. Is it legal?
They're making shit. Didn't they make like $2,800 or something like this last time?
1,400 is what they made.
14 and 28, I was close. Yeah. But either way, they started with $5,000, and in one weekend, just to be like, hey guys, come sleep with us and look at what we do every day. They're like, oh look, we're already building up our little stockpile now.
Right.
So is that one?
They got it made, man.
Is that one chick a marketing genius, or is it just coincidence and luck?
No, I don't. I kind of get upset every time they keep pointing to her and are like, look what you've done for us. She put up a Facebook page. Like, what did she? I don't know. I mean, and that's kind of funny too. Like this week, she's basically saying we need to start doing a 60-40 split of our revenue. 60% of what you make goes to the group, and 40% goes to you. Um, well, actually, it started with 80-20. You remember?
Yeah, I do, and I forgot about this part completely. I'm glad you brought it up, but yeah.
Yeah, she said, we do 80-20 split, and people weren't keen on that. So in the end, they end up agreeing on a 60-40 split at the end of the episode, for the revenue. But people are really upset about this. But I mean, you basically, this is how it's like they're in the middle of California, they're living by the U.S. government rules, pretty much, even though they say they're not, and they're upset by this. But this is just standard taxation. Like 30% of your revenue is basically what you give the government already, and the government doesn't do shit for you really with that 30%. Whereas in Utopia, you give 40%, which end up being 20% back to the group, but the group is actually spending that money on things that everyone is using. So like, why is no one keen with this idea?
Well, I don't understand why they're there and they think they need their own money for anything.
Well, yeah, exactly. What are you doing with your 60%? There's people paying to sleep with you. You're not going to need to buy hookers. Are they buying blow?
Yeah, and they're buying everything everybody needs in a community group. Well, I don't know. Bella got really upset because the one guy considered like tampons or whatever part of like her own requirements.
Now, what did you think about that? I thought that that's community shit.
Yes and no. Here's the deal. Like, it depends on what else that they put in there. Is deodorant for everybody in there as well? Because it's like, as a guy, I will never use a tampon in my life. But at the same time, there's going to be other things I would assume in that community pot that the girls aren't going to use, or something that I'm using.
That's paying for the condoms.
It's a good question.
Maybe they're just giving them the condoms. Because they talk like they had boxes and boxes of condoms. I wonder who's going to take care of Red's wine now that Red's gone. Just thought about that while we were talking about condoms, because he'd put the condom up with his wine. But I mean, I felt like the tampons and the pads and all that shit. I felt like anything that's required hygiene. It's not a. I mean, I guess technically they could have just got a rag and washed it in the creek.
Just go all natural. She likes to walk around naked anyway. I mean,
well, fuck. I mean, I'm surprised Bella uses tampons.
I also am.
So yeah.
Well, it's like, so razors. Granted, women shave their legs. I don't know how many of them do on this show, but women shave their legs and things like that, but probably much less frequently than most of those guys are shaving their faces. Are razors and stuff considered part of the community group? If those are, then yeah, the pads and stuff would have to be. But if they're making the guys buy their own razors on their own, then...
As much as they're having sex, I bet the women are shaving daily.
That's possibly true. Maybe they have professional waxers that come in all the time.
It would make sense to get waxed right before you go. Like, if I would ever go on Survivor, I would wax. Well, I mean, I wouldn't. But if I was a female, I would wax, before you left. You'd have to worry about for that time you were gone.
Wax your face.
Yeah. Oh, God, that would be terrible. God, those. Oh, so when they were talking about voting people out this last week, they kept saying they couldn't vote Bree out because even though she didn't do anything in the farm, she was the vet, and the cow's pregnant, so we can't get rid of Bree. Did that make any sense to you? I mean, I grew up on a farm, so I saw how births happen. They just fall out.
Well,
like,
and
there wasn't a vet there to say, okay, do it.
And the cow got born.
Yeah, Bree wasn't there eating like a peanut butter sandwich when that happened.
And didn't that happen before the official vote?
It did.
So, yeah, what is she...
I was like, okay, we can get rid of Bree now, right?
Because Red's the one that separated the cow. Like, Red's the one that was like...
Why the fuck did they do... Okay, again, I grew up on a farm. I have no idea what the fuck they were doing. They were like, all right, mama, this baby's ours now, and you can't even look at it. We're going to bottle feed it. Why the fuck did they do that?
It was something about selling it, and I don't remember what the reasoning was that you weren't allowed to keep the cow by its mom before you could sell it. Maybe the mom would be more upset. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Because like I said, we used to sell cows. We never ripped them away from their just born mother, but just born baby, like ripped away from the mother.
Well, no wonder you don't have the booming farm business now.
Right, I know. I guess we did succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That was really strange. And the reasoning for keeping Bree, I think, is completely off base. Like, granted, if it was Bree versus some other people that I was like, these guys shouldn't be up for elimination, I'd be really pissed. However, Red needed to go.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Red... Somebody commented on the last video. I don't know if you saw it. Do you know Red's been in other shows?
Yeah, I looked him up. He was on a reality show where he grew pot in the woods.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Do you think he... Does that play more into the fact that these people are actors? Do you think he's actually like he is? or do you think it's part of his like character that he plays?
Right. Well, I didn't actually go and watch the show, but
Nor did
I'm
I.
wondering how valid that, like how, like where I did research enough. I should have before we talked about this because I wonder what state was he growing? Like was this happening in some state where it's even legal? Like I'm curious where this show took place, where the whole show is about him doing something that's probably illegal.
I mean, that's what the Moonshine show, Moonshiners, wasn't that about like illegally making moonshine completely?
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it is. I never actually
I
watched
thought
it.
it's illegal to profit from things that are illegal.
It is. It's. I mean, I think it's illegal to make moonshine just on your own.
Yeah, it is.
So the fact that they have a show about even something like
But
that,
I thought maybe some states you know, kind of like some states you can, like in Colorado, you can grow pot.
you can now. I
Yeah.
mean, you couldn't probably when that show was. I have no idea when that show
Yeah, I
was
don't know
on.
what the show is.
But anybody doing that, it's like, okay, why would you, for one, if you're doing all this illegal stuff, would you let somebody tape you doing it and air it because you're not getting caught by the cops, but now there's evidence of you doing all this
Well,
stuff?
that's why I'm kind of curious. Like Hell's Kitchen recently, not Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares recently. No, wait, it was Hotel Hell. I don't know if you watch Gordon Ramsay, but he does another show where he's
I
cooking in a
haven't
hotel.
seen it yet, but I know he does the show, yeah.
Well, he went to one where the family is just a bunch of potheads, but then I read up on it, and they all had medical marijuana licenses. So what he was showing wasn't illegal for them to be doing, basically.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't know. I was just kind of wondering. I should look up this whole red thing more, I guess, to see, because I'm wondering if what he was doing was illegal, and if it was, then I tend to believe that it was fake, because I don't think that someone's going to take that risk as a television producer to be involved in something illegal. You know what I mean?
I agree with you, and that's why it leads me to believe more that Red's an actor.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes me wonder how long is it going to be until other people come out as
Actors.
actors.
Right. Like I really found the whole homeless guy that seemed really educated and well spoken and well kept to be a little bit hard to buy.
Dave the ex-con.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that he more seemed like somebody who was a plant to start shit and then leave. Like he was only meant to be on that show for a little bit of time. He was an actor. Go in, do all this stuff, get out. We got other gigs for you.
Yeah. I think the whole show is kind of bullshit. Honestly. I think it might just be a whole thing. It's just a bunch of paid actors.
Now the question is,
most part.
Are they ever going to tell us that though? It's like storage.
No. It's not like Joe Schmo or whatever, where the reality show. Have you ever seen that where
the guy was Joe Millionaire or whatever it was?
Where he's not actually on a reality show. He thinks he is. Everyone else there's paid actors.
No.
It's really good. The only one that was really good was the first season. After that, they kept trying to do it again. It's called Joe Schmo. You should watch it. Where basically everyone there is a paid actor except for one guy. It's like Truman Show to some degree, right?
So
because he's just like, what the fuck is going on right now? And they're all paid actors, but he's not. And he actually thinks he's on a reality show with all these people that are fucking crazy. It's kind of like Big Brother to some degree, but
that's funny. Now that sounds like a premise I can get behind. But
it was good for the first season. After that,
how many seasons were there?
I think they did like 4 or something.
God.
But yeah, the first one was really good.
But it's like Storage Wars. I don't know if you ever watched Storage Wars.
I've watched. I know the premise, and I know it's basically bullshit, right?
Yeah, well, one of the producers, I don't know if he got fired or whatnot, but after he got fired, he kind of came out and was like, "Look, this is all fake," and he like proved that it was all faked and staged. And I'm like, you can't do that. Like, don't put out a show that. I would assume that'd be illegal to put out things on false premises like that, but I mean, maybe not. Maybe the whole since it's entertainment industry, they're allowed to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, I was reading about Shark Week on Discover, and the amount of actual content that's coming out for Shark Week has diminished over time. And it was either last year or 2 years ago, they aired a fake documentary about this killer shark that most people thought was real, but it wasn't. It was completely fake. Just a fucking made up show about, and it was aired as a documentary, right? Like, it seems legitimate, and you're surrounded by things that you believe are legitimate, so you're watching this thinking this is real. And I was reading about this year's Shark Week, and they've like tripled the budget for fake documentaries because of how successful that one was.
Are they putting them out there as fake though?
No, they're not telling you. They're not explicitly telling you. I mean, there's probably some fine print there in the thing.
I'm watching 4 documentaries, and one of them may be real, and the other 3 are like complete garbage.
Right. Completely fake,
Jesus.
scripted bullshit.
Who ever thought I'd lose my faith in television? To be the source of truth for everything.
uh, so
uh,
yeah, I think under the guise of entertainment, that this definitely happens. I mean, I really think Survivor is going that way to some degree. I think if you look at old Survivor compared to new Survivor, the amount of scripted type of stuff that's happening is just more and more because they want that entertainment, right? That's where they make their money. The more it's kind of like if we had a UHC season where everyone just died to PvP or PvE in the first two episodes, that wouldn't really sell well. You know what I mean?
are you saying it's scripted?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
'Cause
I'm saying that we've been really lucky with UHC, but if you look at some seasons compared to others, the seasons that do really well are the seasons where crazy shit happens.
it's true. It's very true. And yeah, we definitely have gotten really lucky in the fact that we've been able to have, because there has been a couple seasons where there's been a lot of PvE and people were upset because a lot of people died to like random stuff.
Yeah.
And unfortunately that does happen, but I guess it proves why some of those TV networks would be wanting to ensure that everything was exciting enough. Because I think with just going back to Survivor for a minute, I think with the beginning of Survivor, there we go. I had to put up a Survivor logo. But the beginning of Survivor, I think they used to read all the ballots out there at the tribal councils, and he would sometimes only read like 4 of them because he'd be like, "That's 4, that's enough. Like, get your stuff and get out." And now it pretty much always goes to read every single one of them to make it. It's always between the last 2 that are, the deciding factor. And they even used to have one of the tiebreaker rules. Used to be if there was a tie, it went back to who had the most votes previously. And they would always be like, Jim, how many votes do you have? And he'd be like, 1 that I know of, but there could be more because you never read all the votes at the tribal councils because of the fact that, it didn't matter. So they definitely changed that. And that's a lot of stuff I read on like Survivor AMAs that, they do stop before he reads the votes and he organizes them in such a way that it makes it more of a dramatic read and things like that. But and I feel like that stuff can be okay from a viewer's perspective because it doesn't change anything. It just makes it a little bit more dramatic, and I get that. Can you imagine as a contestant, though, being like, okay, we voted. Now let them go sit back there and rearrange the votes. Now we just wait. Like,
I've read that tribal council takes 4 hours minimum.
I can understand based on like just the little bits you see in the information that comes out. It's like ridiculous information that comes out.
Like Jeff sits there and he needles them until he gets what he wants, but we only see the good part.
I would love to see a full tribal council. Like if they would just air a full one, like one of the more entertaining ones, just air the thing out there. I want to see what happens. I mean,
well, you remember the first season, they didn't even do the live show where they just read the fucking votes. Yeah, here's the winner.
I think the first 2 seasons they did. They read them right there, like on the island, like. And also, I remember, oh God, what's his name? The initial survivor, the ultimate.
Oh, Richard Hatch.
And he's sitting there, and I just remember him like in his like dirty ass tank top and shorts, and he's just like, "Oh wow, I just won." Like that's the end of the season. It's 'cause, sorry, spoilers for those who haven't seen Survivor season 1.
Right. I just worry they're going to change it to the point where it won't have its appeal, because I think for me at least the realness of it all is what appeals me to the show.
Now it's kind of lacking. I mean, they might change it to the point where it becomes Utopia, and then we're just in a world of hurt.
How many more episodes of Utopia do you think we're gonna get?
I mean, if you just said that they switched it down to 1 a week, did they give an explanation why they switched it down?
No, we didn't even realize. They didn't even say it on the show. But we were looking at our DVR and we saw it wasn't coming on today, so we were like, this was last week. And we're like, what's going on with that? And so we looked online and Googled it, and it's sure enough, Tuesday. It's just been canceled from Tuesday. It doesn't say why. It's just canceled from the lineup on Tuesday nights.
And how long has it been running for? We're only in like week 4,
if even that.
Well, there's just been so many episodes because
I think this is only the 3rd week. I think we only had only 1 week aired when we started the show.
I think 2. I think 2 weeks had aired, but the first week, you got to remember, was split up over like 2 weeks, and it was like the 3
Yeah.
hours worth of the
Right.
initial. I was kind of crazy,
Yeah.
but I would, if the show makes it for 6 months, I would be in shock.
So yeah, that's the thing too. Like, they normally have these summer seasons, fall season, the spring season, whatever.
Well, this one they're planning on them living there for a year. It's
Right. So
52 weeks
that's where I was going with this. Is like, is it just a show? It's just a show that's going to run for a year. There's no seasons.
or forever.
Well,
Does
sure.
it stop at a year? I
Well,
actually, yeah, I guess it does stop at a year. Like a
what if
year.
that happens? Get out.
Yeah,
We're done.
like get the fuck out. Yeah, years up.
I
All
think it's bullshit. Did they tell these people before they went in, you may only be here a month? Because when they started the show, they certainly didn't tell us that. And they made it sound like to the people that they had put aside a year of their life to go do this thing. But then, like, in Red's case, all right, we're done with you. It's been a month. Get the
yeah.
fuck out.
And can you imagine having gone on to, even if you knew it was month at a time, you have to prepare that you're going to be there for the entire year. You
Right.
can't just go and be like, well, I'll get kicked out soon enough, so no big deal. So all of a sudden, if you do get kicked out the first day or the first month, I mean, what do you got planned?
I don't know, like, have you quit your job? Like, what kind of jobs did he, like, this lawyer, like, is his career just over at this point? Like, was he with a firm? Was he a partner with a firm? If he wasn't a partner with a firm, he's certainly not working towards partner now.
And
'cause
yeah,
he's
does anybody want him anymore?
exactly. Now that he's Mr. Polyamorous guy, like, do you trust his judgment? I mean, do you want him representing you in court? Is he a celebrity now? Like, was he ever a lawyer?
Right. And I guess this is different than, and it is one thing that about Survivor is, even when you're kicked out on day one, you're supposed to stay there for the whole 39 days on
Right.
their like Ponderosa Island or whatever it is. So what about the people who leave because they miss their families?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I'm assuming they just go home, right? I mean, but the show's being aired in a way, like with Survivor, they gotta get the shit together and air the show. But with this, if you're kicked out, the world's gonna know in a week, right?
I mean, yeah. So this show, luckily, I think you do just go straight home.
Yeah.
But like in Survivor, you don't. You're not supposed to. But you have people quit all the time because they don't want to be there.
Oh,
my
right.
grandma's sick or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what happens with those people.
Oh, they just like they quit and then they go back to the Ponderosa place and they're like, "Sorry, you guys, you still can't leave." I mean, what do they do?
Huh.
Because that one they got to keep the lips sealed on everything that's going to happen in the show. Whereas in Utopia, it's like you said, a week later, technically beforehand, you probably know. How do they do that? Because you can watch the live feed. Could you actually watch who leaves before? Is that?
I guess so.
I've never seen anybody spoil it before.
But no one's talking. Did you found some forum somewhere where people are actually talking about this show?
No, mainly the comments from the last video is the closest to forums I would have thus far.
I wonder if there's even a subreddit. Let's see.
A Utopia subreddit, probably three comments on there. I got to the Utopia website too because I'm trying to see if I can find a way to vote, but maybe they just don't let you vote. Oh, day 40's today.
Oh.
That says that on there, so I guess they've only been there for 40 days.
Okay, Reddit/Utopia is not what.
Let's see. Yeah, I got. Oh, the new guy's name is Ernesto. That's.
Oh, it's Utopia TV. Oh, 2,000 people read it. There's 7 people there right now.
Oh, 7 people,
huh? Oh wait, no. This is.
Is that the Netherlands one?
Yeah, this is something. Oh yeah. Utopia Fox is probably what we want. Okay. Oh, there's 26 people here, but there's less total subscribers. Only 1,300. The most commented thing on there right now is, why doesn't Aaron wash his hands?
That seems like a very important thing to keep
I've
an eye
watched
on, since I didn't
several
know.
times, and when Aaron starts cooking, he never washes his hands.
That's...
Isn't that like cooking 101? That seems pretty. That's a pretty good question, right? If you're the chef. Oh, huh. This guy says he's only a line cook at Cracker Barrel.
Are you serious?
Is that right?
I don't know. I thought he was like a head chef somewhere.
I did too.
A line cook at Cracker Barrel. I have more experience than that guy does in cooking.
Huh. This guy is a verified poster. He's one of the moderators. It says, keep in mind he made $40,000 catering 2 weddings right before the show started. Where are these people getting this information?
Wait, and you can make $40,000 catering 2 weddings? Good. You want to get into the wedding catering business? Set aside a couple weekends.
20,000 a wedding? That sounds about right. I mean, well, I have no idea. Weddings make a lot of money, but yeah, you're right. 20,000 on weddings is quite a bit. Damn. Right? Who the fuck was he? Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a much more entertaining show next week because we're gonna pour through this subreddit now and find out.
Right? Yeah.
That we had no
That's what I was like. He's not a chef or a cook. He supposedly brought a cast iron skillet. He's supposedly brought a cast iron skillet. Says cooking is his specialty, but he doesn't even know how to cook or clean with it. It soaks in soap several times a day. Oh, you never do that with cast iron. Bree isn't a vet tech. She has no idea what animals are. Hex isn't a hunter. She hasn't managed to hunt anything, like even catch a fish. I mean that's pretty good points these guys are making. Have we seen any of these people actually do anything that relates to the thing they came in as like, here's our, whatever, our huntress.
The contractor has done contracting work, and Red's done some hunting. Other than that,
it was Red because they brought in 2 bows and arrows. Was one of those Reds?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, Aaron has cooked, but maybe not well or with clean hands. So.
Well, yeah.
Well,
there's a thread here. How long or how close are we for the show being canceled?
And the number 1 response is,
let's see. A few minutes ago when I was talking, Bree mentioned this shit's gonna be canceled anytime now, anyways. And then they immediately cut to someone else
on the live feed.
That's what they're saying.
That's kind of funny. Even the cast is like, fuck this. Come on, just get it over with.
People are saying it needs more nudity on the streams. We lose tons of views when there's no nudity. Every time someone gets naked, the views go way up.
Is there a place around where people are like, guys, they're nude? Go.
Yeah, there's like a Twitter you need to follow or something like Utopia boobs. Oh, God.
Well, I think next week's show will be entertaining. Once we pour through this Reddit,
scour this thing. If the show still exists, we'll know all about the inside shit.
So, any last?
I feel like one of us should have the live feed, but I'm not going to sit and watch these people live. I have better things to do.
I almost did get the live feed right when the show came out because I was like, God, this is like I want to get immersed in this to really understand what's going on. But then I was like, I really don't have time to sit down and watch the live feed. Like, what am I going to do? Just sit on my computer and be like, oh. Right? I do that enough anyway with like YouTube videos, but like with just not knowing what's gonna happen, just be like,
I feel like it would be really boring.
I'll sign up for Twitter boobs, and then I'll know when there's good stuff
you know when
I can go to.
Oh man.
So any last minute words on either Survivor or Utopia before we end this?
No, episode? I think that's good for this week. Yeah, I think we covered it. We covered a lot of stuff. You probably don't even need to watch the shows, guys. Just watch us.
I would agree with that. A lot of people probably get more informative, at least about Utopia, from us than they do them. All right, guys. Till next week. See ya.